food and cooking is just so connective, and it's a perfect environment for children, and it will pay off.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. My name is Reesa and I'm your host. We are talking to real families about real stories here on The Real Family Eats, where we've got food for thought and thoughtful food. So let's eat. Welcome back, everyone. I'm so excited that you're here to join us, and I'm excited about today's guest. We've got lots of stories and lots of yummy food for you. We have Lacey that is joining us, and Lacey, thank you so much for being willing to be a guest on this show. I'm so thrilled to have you. So thank you for joining us today on The Real Family Eats.
Thank you so much for having me, Reesa. I'm so excited to be here because I just love how you do it. The cooking is like phenomenal. Never seen anyone do it like this. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, I have to be part of this. So I'm Lace. I am a mum of three children, all home educated. I currently live in South America, in Colombia, although I was born and raised in the UK, and my heritage is half Jamaican. I help entrepreneurs fuel their internal machine with food education while optimizing their external systems with scalable business systems. And I'm the founder of Tech and Taste. I'm also co-founder of something brand new, which I'm super excited about, called the Flavor Room. And the Flavor Room is for entrepreneurs who don't fit the mold. We focus on elevating leaders of color and diverse entrepreneurs who are often overlooked, tokenized in traditional business spaces. So that's a bit about me. And yeah, let's go.
Wonderful. Yes. And you alluded to it, food. So I'm so excited to try your recipe today. So without further ado, can you tell us what recipe am I making today that you're sharing with all of our wonderful listeners? And why did you choose this one?
Okay, well, today we are cooking my banging air fryer burgers. I actually call them Lacey's banging air fryer burgers. And I chose it because these burgers are wicked. They taste good, they're fat, they're juicy, and they're really easy to make. And, I think a lot of us get burgers and we get them out of our box and we slam them into the oven and we've got these really sad, floppy little patties that don't taste of nothing. And it's a bit sad. And it doesn't need to
Yeah.
be like that. It's not difficult to make a really good burger at home, and
Mm-hmm.
air fryers are life. So that's why I chose it because I want to introduce you to a very nice juicy burger patty with hand cut chips, of course,
Yes.
because hand cut chip and some coleslaw because coleslaw just makes everything a bit more snazzy.
I love it. And honestly, I love a good burger. In fact, my oldest one too, that was my craving. That was my pregnancy craving. I could smell a burger a mile away. So we are excited for this.
Love it.
Can you tell us maybe an overview of the steps, what we're going to be doing, and I'll get making and mixing over here while we chat.
Absolutely. So the way I start my burgers is we start by finely dicing some white onion and some garlic, and then we're going to saute that off, hopefully in some ghee. But if you have oil, I will forgive you. Or if you have butter, that's even better. Real butter, please, not margarine. And we're going to saute that and just pop it to the side, and we're going to
Okay.
cool that down. That is going into the burgers. That's going to provide a really, really yummy depth of flavor. So just until they're just caramelizing. And
Okay.
then we're going to start to season up the burger patties and we'll put those aside and then we'll prepare the sides before we cook. And then that way everything comes together really nicely. So you're going to start with that onion and garlic.
Okay, perfect. I can do that. So while I am making all the yummy food on my end, I know you've got stories and stories to be able to share. And so I'd love for you to, jump right in and tell us, because you mentioned something that you were very proud of in kind of being able to launch your children off and kind of the development that you've seen in them, and that it wasn't an easy journey getting there. So start us off.
Wasn't. I'll go sort of back to the beginning. When my eldest, who's going to be 17 next month, I can't believe I almost have an adult. Um,
No.
When she was in year two, I'm not sure what grade that works out to be in America, but she was like about six. I decided
Okay.
to do something completely radical and I took her out of school. Everyone thought I
Okay.
was nuts. So
Wow.
I was like, we're not doing this school system stuff anymore. Not for any reason. She wasn't terribly bullied or anything. She was just bored,
Hmm.
you know? Every
Yes.
day, what did you know? And I thought, "Do you know what? This isn't the one. I'm not doing this." So I took her
Hmm.
out of school and decided we were going to start our home education journey. And we
Okay.
did for 8.
Wow. And so as you'd pulled her out of school, I mean, I'm so curious, what was that like? What were some of the challenges that you experienced? How did you navigate them?
It was terrifying to begin with because it's like I'm going against the grain. It's quite
Hmm.
common that people do it in the UK, but not super common. So it was
Okay.
very scary that first process of, sending the letters to the school and deregistering and all that. And then you're like, oh, what do I do? Do I create
Hmm.
school at home? Do I follow a curriculum? Do I do an online school? I didn't want to do none of that, but we did to
Okay.
begin with because I was like, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing. I just want it to be better than what it was. So we kind of followed her interests. So we went on different trips to different places that, followed those interests. And over time, it became, you know, she didn't want to do stuff in the way like, sit down and do the work. She's very
Hmm.
practical. So she taught herself the guitar, she taught herself Photoshop, she taught herself video editing. And at some points, I think for me, it was a deconditioning that I had to go through because I've been to school and, you
Hmm.
think, oh, it's got to be done a certain way or they're not going to learn anything. And then you've got the challenges from family who were all
Hmm.
like, your kids are going to be dumb. Like,
Wow. Oh my goodness.
like you're ruining their lives. How could you? And so that's challenging too, because some people will fold and put their kids right back in school, but not me. I
Yeah.
was like, the more you say, the less it's going to happen. Like, the more I'm going to push this because that's like my personality. So it's a deconditioning of really taking a step back and trusting that your children will learn what they need to learn when they want to learn it, and that learning is all around us. It's impossible not to learn, no matter what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah. And like you said, that's got to be such a difficult, even for yourself, that unlearning that it needs to be a specific way and that that's the only way to do it.
There are many ways to do the same thing.
Yeah. And to not even have that support of people, in your corner, it sounds like, they were almost kind of fighting you while you're trying to also, battle that internal, I, oh, can we do this differently? Is there room for flexibility, room for individuality? It sounds like as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and she's super individual, let me tell you. So later down the line, when we got to 2022,
Hmm.
my relationship had broken down. I knew I had to leave. And that's when schooling, as it were, homeschooling, got really interesting because we weren't now just at home and living in
Uh,
caravans and moving around the country in the UK. We were now about to board a flight to Mexico on a one-way ticket, and we didn't know anybody and we didn't speak any Spanish. So
oh, wow. That sounds so
yeah,
scary.
it was terrifying, but I was following intuition. I was called
Mm.
to do it, so I
Hmm.
didn't question it, as I learned very long ago that intuition, you can't get it wrong. The only way you can get it wrong is by ignoring it. So I was like, okay, I surrender to this. We're gonna
Uh-huh.
go. We'll figure it out. I didn't have a plan other than myself and my kids. By this time now, I've got three. Um, are gonna be happier than we had been in the last 7 years. We'd
Mm.
figure it out. Far as I thought it through.
Yeah.
So we landed in Mexico. Culture shock. I'd never been to Mexico before, done a lot of traveling. So the children were well versed in other cultures and going to different places, but we'd never been to Latin America or even that side of the world. The furthest I'd been is New York. I ain't been down.
Okay.
So this, this was like, the first time.
Yeah.
Um, we figure it out. We were all right. Mexico was cool. You see some really interesting things. We stayed in a little beach town called Boca de Tomatlan, right on the river. Massive
Okay.
house. about 3 minutes walk from the beach. It was just
Wow.
divine.
Yeah.
But the power off often, and the things you don't necessarily experience, like in the UK or the States, but like water disappearing, electric cutting out, those sorts of things. But it was fun. We adapted. We adapted. It
I mean,
kind
there's
of
not a whole lot of choice but to adapt, right? In those situations.
You either adapt or you go back. Going back wasn't an
Yes.
option.
Mm, yeah, that's so true. Okay, so you're in this new environment, you're having to adapt to new culture, new life. I mean, what's coming up next? How was that for you as a parent even and trying to navigate your own maybe discomforts as well as maybe your children's discomforts as well?
It was we just kind of just rode it. Like my eldest learned Spanish really quickly. So she was able to sort of get around and talk to people and whatever we needed to do really easily. Where yeah, I think it's more difficult for adults. We're a bit slower. Google Translate saves our lives on many occasions. But we just sort of went with it and we're like, hey, it's an adventure. It is what it is. Whatever happens, we know we're gonna be okay and
Hmm.
we'll figure it out. And Mexicans are really friendly. We had no problems at all. We moved around Mexico for a year. We
Okay.
walked in Guatemala, just walked over the border.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Walked over the border, got a bus, went all around from the border right down to Guatemala City. We stayed there for 10 days, just, checking it out. Then we got the bus back. The weather in Guatemala is crazy. It's really nice 1 minute and then it's raining the next minute. And then there's a landslide on your bus is not going anywhere for like the next couple of hours. That happened to us twice. So
Ah, oh my goodness.
my youngest was like 11 months old when we landed in Mexico. So, we've got like a baby with us. So
Yeah.
it was it was fun. And then we got to the point where we're like, okay, we're going to leave Mexico. And this is one of those parenting nightmares that you just never want to happen.
Okay.
We booked our flights to Costa Rica.
Hmm.
We went to the airport. Mexico City airport is so big and confusing. You really want to give yourself like an extra day just to find your way around it. We
Oh
didn't
my
do
goodness.
that. We just went and we're like, yeah, we'll be fine. And then there was an argument about baggage, I think. Oh, I can't remember. No, we got to Mexico City airport and the flight that took us from PV, Puerto Vallarta, where we were staying, was late. So we got to Mexico City late. And then we were running around trying to find where we needed to be to get the flight to Costa Rica, and we missed it.
Oh
So I'm like,
wow.
this is a problem. So
Yeah.
we went and stayed in the hotel, rebooked a flight. Now we've already given up our apartment and we've got everything in Costa Rica ready. So rebooked another flight. So now I'm running low on money because it's only me bringing
Hmm.
in money here from my little online business that I'd launched, which is nothing to do with what I do today. Rebooked the flight, went to the airport the next morning, and then there was an argument about bags. I know
Okay.
for a fact I booked hold luggage because I had suitcases. It wouldn't make sense for me not to. And the
Hmm.
woman wanted to argue with me and say I hadn't and was trying to charge me like an extra $200 or whatever it was. And I was like, listen, I don't have any more money to be spending on things I've already spent on. And this argument went back and forth. And then ping, my phone went. I looked at my phone and it is the Airbnb host in Costa Rica telling me, I've undercharged you for your months of accommodation. It's going to cost you an extra $2,000.
Oh my goodness.
So I was like, okay. And then at that point, the flight had already gone because me and bag woman are arguing. So we've missed
Hmm.
the second flight. I don't have anywhere to stay even if I'd got on it. So that's kind of like divine timing if there was any. However, now I'm in an airport with my
Hmm.
children, nowhere to stay and no money.
Yes. So, I mean, again, the only thing that's coming to my mind is just how scary that could have been. And for many folks, I imagine that could have been the make it or break it. You either, like you said, go back or figure it out.
Exactly. And this is what I was faced with. because it's like, okay, I can call my mum and say it's all gone tits up, get us home. That wasn't an option for me. I didn't come all of this way and go through all the things that I did and make that huge decision to take that leap and free myself from what I was facing to turn around and go back just because I'd missed a flight. That wasn't an option. So what I did is we went to KFC. Because what else do you do when you're homeless and living in Mexico airport with Mexico City airport with your kids, but go and have something to eat? So I was
Hmm.
like, we're gonna sit, we're gonna have something to eat. Like the kids were really cool. Like there was no panic because mum wasn't panicking. Mum was like, we're gonna figure this out because we don't have any other options. So it's gonna
Yeah.
work out. My phone, reached out to my Facebook community who had been following my journey from since before I left, knowing that this was happening, and they've been with me
Okay.
everywhere virtually. And I talked to a friend of mine, and she went out and put a post out and said, "Is there anybody in Mexico City who can rescue Lace and her kids?" And within about 10 minutes, there was a lady in my inbox saying, "I live in Mexico City. I've been following your journey. I know you." And I knew her. And she was like, "I'm sending you an Uber. You can come and stay with me for as long as you need until you sort yourself out."
Wow. Gosh, the
Yep.
generosity of others.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
beautiful.
It was beautiful. So me and the kids went and stayed in a two-bedroom apartment in a huge tower block in Mexico City, and we stayed there for about 2 weeks. And we cooked, because me and my eldest are like big cooks. So we did the cooking, and like her and the lady's son cooked with my eldest as well, so that they were, swapping cooking stories and techniques and all that. So that was really nice. And then things kind of worked out, and we actually moved from Mexico City to San Cristobal, which is on the border to Guatemala, which is why we ended up walking in. And
Okay.
it was all fine. So that was like one of the big things that we got over. Okay, we're homeless, we have nowhere to go. What are we gonna do? It worked out. And I
Hmm.
really think that's because I honestly believed it would work out. And
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah. Was that difficult to reach out to the community, to ask for that help? I know that that's something that I've heard from parents is there's this maybe fear, I don't know if fear is the right word, but hesitation to reach out for concern that, what is it going to say about them? There's almost this, well, if I reach out and I say I need help, then am I failing? Is that
Yeah.
indicative of me as a parent, as a person?
Yeah, and at that time, no, it wasn't hard because I didn't have any other options. So it wasn't something I
Hmm.
could sort of and ah about. I was like, hey, stuff happens. And I know that a lot of the people that will follow me are also world scholars, also people that have done, home education at home or gone around the world doing it. And they would have had maybe similar sort of, problems, missing flight stuff going wrong. So that was fine. But in answer to your question, there was a time when I found it extremely difficult to reach out for help. But again, I didn't have any option. So by the
Yeah.
time we, finished in Mexico, we spent 6 weeks in Dominican Republic, and then we came to Colombia on a call, which is where I am now. I was just like, I just need to go there. And and I went to Santa Marta, which is on the Caribbean coast. We got a house. And once we moved into this house, I became really, really sick.
Mm.
I was sick the entire time I lived in that house. For two
Wow.
months, I was in bed in pain. I couldn't eat. I couldn't walk without literally passing out. And
Yeah.
even the fan on my skin was causing me pain. I was so ill, I couldn't work because I couldn't even have the laptop touching me. I lost all
Hmm.
of my clients, and I was doing VA in at this time. Like they literally just walked away. They didn't want to give me any
Wow.
leeway. They were just like, screw you. One of them even started threatening me with police and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not sure how that's going to work when I'm here and you're in a different country. But the stress of wanting a refund for something she'd paid for, which I said, I will still do the work, but I need some time to be well. Like, I'm dying. And I knew
Hmm.
I didn't know I was dying, but I knew I was dying. And I was being seen by doctors, and they were coming around and putting IVs in my arm and giving me all of these drugs, and nothing was working. So I eventually asked for a second opinion. And this lovely doctor came around and she was like, "You need to go straight to hospital now." Like I think my hemoglobin levels were like 2.4, like really, really low. That I
Wow.
probably So went off to the hospital, and long story short, I ended up having life-saving surgery because I was internally bleeding. I've got no like Colombian health insurance or anything, and I've got
Hmm.
no, I don't know, like I'm just actually used to this point. So what's been happening is my eldest daughter has come with us to the hospital. She's given all of my medical information over to the medics in perfect Spanish. So they know exactly all about me. She knows all that stuff anyway, because I believe that it's important for your children to know these important things for when stuff like this happens. You can't plan
Hmm.
for it. So she's done all of that. She's gone home. She's looked after the smallest one. She's been doing the shopping. She's got my bank card. She's holding it all down because I taught her how to do that. All my kids have been in the kitchen since they were two. So
Wow.
they all know how to, navigate the shopping list. They all know how to go and buy the things. So she's got that. She knows how to look
Hmm.
after the house, after her sister. I'm in hospital for 10 days after having this surgery, 8 blood transfusions, and then they present me with the bill. 22 million Colombian pesos, which is
Really?
about £4,000. So maybe
Okay.
about $6,000.
Uh-huh.
I have no clients. I haven't been able to work, and I've
Hmm.
been spending, to look after the kids and make sure they're all right. And I can't leave the hospital because I'm being held by security guards with guns until I pay the bill. This is the next time you
Wow.
got to reach out.
Yeah.
That was because I'm not asking for a roof over my head or a little bit of support. This time, I'm asking for 4 grand for
Yeah.
at least some towards it. That was a hard ask.
Yeah.
And between the Facebook people, I got that money, but that was a hard ask.
Wow. How, so there was a couple questions that came up for me as you were telling this is how do you navigate? Because it seems like for you, resilience is the word that was coming up for me. And so I'm so curious, like, how did you develop that? Has that always been there? Is there something that you learned? And then the second question, because it sounds like you were also trying to pass that resiliency down to your children. I hear you saying that, it was important to you to make sure that, by age of 2, that they were in the kitchen and they knew and had maybe some skills, some life skills to be able to persevere. And so I'm so curious, like the start of that for you, where did that come from?
I think I've always been resilient. I haven't had the easiest start in life. It wasn't like awful, but it wasn't easy. There was like childhood abuse, but not from my parents or anything like that. I want to make that really clear. Like my mum is awesome, not from my family, from the stepdad's family. Um, and I had lots of really dysfunctional relationships as a teen, and I think that reflects on my stepdad. He was a drunk, and then you end up attracting those sorts of people into your life, and the cycle kind of continues because it's almost like you're attracting in your personal brand, even though you're not doing that on a conscious level. That's all
Mm-hmm.
subconscious stuff. So it's not my fault, it's not your fault if you're listening to me and thinking, hey, I didn't ask for any of this stuff. No, you didn't. But
Yeah.
on a subconscious level, that's what we bring in. So I've
Mm-hmm.
learned a lot of resilience throughout the years. I had to be super resilient throughout my marriage because that was incredibly hard. Um, so I think that's where it's come from. It's kind of just instilled in me to be very resilient because of my life experiences up until now. And as
Mm-hmm.
for why do my children have such resilience? Like how did that come to be passed on in such a way via the kitchen specifically? Is This is a really funny story. Actually started with a baked bean.
Okay.
So yes,
Tell me more.
it all started with baked beans. When I was at university, the first time when I was 18, I rocked up with pots, pans, and some Jamaican spices.
Okay.
Everyone else rocked up with nice cars and nice laptops and stuff that my family couldn't afford. So I was thinking, oh well, maybe I've got a worse off start than everybody else. But what happened is one day I went into the communal kitchen and I saw my flatmate Chris. And he was holding this tin of baked beans and he was like profusely sweating, hyperventilating, and having a proper meltdown. And I was like, mate, are you all right? And he was like, I don't know what to do with these. And I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, there's no cooking instructions on the tin, and I don't know what to do so to be able to eat them. And I thought, dear God, this can't be right. Um, so I coached him through heating up the baked beans,
Okay.
and that's when I decided my children cannot be like this. This
Mm,
cannot happen because I thought there's just I couldn't understand how an 18-year-old could be in this position where they couldn't feed themselves something so basic.
hmm.
I thought I couldn't necessarily cook, but I grew up around lots of cooks. I grew up around eating great food. So I just went off into the world and started recreating what I ate at home. And when I got stuck, I'd ring my grandma, I'd ring my mum and say, hey, I'm trying to make your chicken wings. Tell me what you did. Tell me what you put on them. And I'd do it.
Yeah.
And then Chris, who hasn't got a clue about what to do with a tin of food, he could eat cold because it wouldn't kill him. But he didn't know how long to heat them up for, and he was like poking them on the stove like they might jump up and bite him at any moment. And
Oh
that's
my
when I
goodness.
decided my kids cannot be like this. This ain't
Hmm.
gonna be my and that's how it started. So when I ended up having kids, only 2 years later, my eldest was born. As soon as she turned two, I was like, "You're all getting in the kitchen because you
Yeah.
ain't gonna be being Chris. It's not happening." And that's how it started. And we cooked every day, just little things, just be in the kitchen, do whatever is appropriate. And we just sort of winged it. And almost 17 years later, she's just been invited to cook in the Jamie Oliver kitchen.
Really? Oh my goodness. That's such an honor and such a it sounds like a testament to some of that hard work.
Yes, absolutely. Very much a
Yeah.
testament, very, very proud. Um, yeah, just amazing, absolutely amazing. And there was also work experience that happened in a cafe in Mexico as well, where menus were being planned, produce was being, sourced and bought, and then these were being made into meals for the people that came to the cafe, and people would come because my eldest was there. They
Really.
were like, "The food is amazing. We're coming back for that." So yeah, that's how it started with a baked bean, and I think it ended up creating some of the most resilient children I know.
Hmm.
Just very,
Yeah.
very capable, very confident, and able to navigate situations where your mum's practically dying in a foreign country and you can hold it all together. And even the smallest one wasn't phased. There was no bawling and crying and carrying on. It was just, okay, I'm just going to be looked after by somebody else.
Wow. Do you see, are there other examples or other ways that you have seen just that idea that I want to get you in the kitchen, I want to empower you with skills, life skills to be able to go into the world and be successful and be thriving? Have you seen other maybe core memories that come up for you of where you saw that in action and saw kind of the payoff, if you will?
From my own personal experience, no, not that I can think of, because I wasn't taught to cook myself, and I don't have any
Mm,
siblings, but I got to see it. So I can't
yeah.
think of any of my personal experience where children being in the kitchen has really paid off. I can see where children not being in the kitchen has caused problems. But the other way around, no. But it is what part of what I do. When I
Mm,
have my people in my membership, men and women, they are all invited to bring their children. They're all entrepreneurs. And I'm like, hey, bring your kids. It's a big thing for me. Bring them. So we'll all jump on a Zoom like we are now and
yeah.
everyone be cooked. And I'm just telling the kids what they can do or the parents what they can get their kids to do. And we all do it together. But what I
Mm,
have seen, something in action, not necessarily because they're still small, but I have seen children who come and do this will
hmm.
end up eating stuff that their parents said they would never eat in a million years. But when they come and cook with me, they eat.
Really? Why is that, do you think? Because I know I've worked with enough parents that a common theme. They're like, oh, my children are so picky, I can't get them to eat anything. And there's almost this, I don't know what to do, and they feel lost, which makes sense. And so I'm so curious, how have you found that? What are maybe some tips, tricks that you've learned along the way?
I think my biggest one is obviously, I think it all starts when you're pregnant. Even before that, you need to be eating a really diverse variety of food because that is going to be the child's first taste of food. They get
Mm,
everything that, that goes in us through the umbilical cord. So if there's lots of flavors and spices and all the things going in there, I think that sets them up for a good start. But obviously you might be like, okay, well, the children are here now. That's not going to help me. So if your
yes.
kids are already, and again, it's the same for breastfeeding, eat a wide diet of food, and then you'll be passing that through the milk. But if your kids are already here and they're young, get them in the kitchen now. Make sure that you're modeling eating lots of different foods, eating all them
Mm,
vegetables, eating all them salads, all the different types of meats and proteins and all the things, so they can see that you're eating it. That already is conditioning them to know that this is normal and these are the things
mhm.
that we eat. Even if they say, I don't like it, keep eating it. Then get them kids in the kitchen as early as possible. 18 months to 2 years, I think, is the best time to start because kids are naturally curious, aren't they? They always want to help.
Yeah. Hmm.
But then parents like, oh, stop getting, you're in the way, you're making everything long. No, 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 no. This is the perfect time to take that curiosity and turn it into something that's going to be amazing when they grow up. Because it gets harder
Yeah.
when they grow up. Because they're not so curious anymore. Then they're just bored all the time. Then they've got all this attitude or whatever. But if you catch them young, you
Hmm.
can really mold that curiosity into something that becomes a passion and something that becomes normal. You want to normalize cooking and
Mm,
cleaning and doing all the things because they're going to have to grow up and do it one day. So
hmm.
make them start small. No, that does not mean you have to have your 2 year olds cooking the Christmas turkey. No, but you give them little tasks and then as they grow up, you continue to, increase the things that they do. For those of you who have got teenagers and you're like, yeah, but my kids hate everything, blah, blah, blah. It is a little bit more difficult with teenagers, and older
Yeah.
children because they're a bit more set in their ways. But again, my attitude is, do you want to eat dinner? Yes, you better come in the kitchen and cook it then. Because
Mm,
dinner doesn't matter on a plate. There is a
yeah.
process to go through to get from prep to plate. And you've got
Mm,
to be involved in the process. Otherwise, there ain't no food. And children you can get them to choose what do they want to eat, what do they like to eat, what do they want to experiment with. Take the things that that come in boxes, pizzas, fish fingers, chicken dippers, burgers, all those things, make them at home.
mm.
And then they start
Yeah.
to try, they want to eat stuff and pick stuff and they don't want to eat the ingredients even before you finish cooking it. That is a problem in my house. So we ain't gonna have no dinner because you want to eat all the ingredients. Those are my tips and tricks. That's what I've been
Yeah.
doing, and that's what everything.
And I love, like you said, that you're also building in this idea of you get to choose. So, okay, maybe we need a veggie. Let's, what veggie sounds most enjoyable? So, which I think is such a great idea for children because so many times, especially as they're developmentally, you know, trying to figure out their place in the world, trying to find their voice, I think it makes a lot of sense. And in fact, there's an excitement there to getting to choose what we're eating. Um,
Yeah.
and we can still draw some limits of saying we need vegetables. The vegetables are important for your body, and here's the reasons why they are. It doesn't have to be the same vegetable every time, or we can get creative with maybe how we cook it or how you know what we include it with. Am I hearing that correctly?
Well, take them to the shop, take them to the market,
Mm-hmm.
get them to pick things up and smell them and choose what they want to buy. Just
Yeah.
expose them. That's what it's all about. That's what I do with my kids. Give them part of the shopping list. You're on
Mm-hmm.
vegetables, you're on dairy, you're on meat. And then go choose the best possible looking sweet corn and the sexiest chicken breast that you can find. And then we'll go cook it up. Like it really gets to be fun. And yeah, it's a bit messy, but most things can be cleaned. And if you're just real about what's going on and what's expected and be cool with a little bit of mess, children are actually far more capable in the kitchen than I think most people will give them credit for. My
Mm.
4-year-old just cracked an egg the other day with one hand and no shell. She just cracks it
Wow.
like a pro. That's the first time she ever cracked an egg, and I was like, I am really impressed. So, but yeah, it just let them get involved.
Hmm.
And this is yes, but I know some parents are like, yeah, well, I cook my family of six different meals every. No, we don't get down like that. We are not cooking six different meals to please everyone. That just doesn't happen in my house. This is the food. You can
Hmm.
choose what you want to eat off the plate, but you ain't getting a separate meal.
Mm.
That is not how it works. Mummy does
Yeah.
not need that. And if you're old enough, you've got teens that don't want to eat what mummy and dad's eating and whatever, get in the kitchen and cook yourself some food. You're old enough to be able to do that. If you
Hmm.
can't or you won't, this is the food. But I'll
Yeah.
happily get in the guide you through how to cook and teach you how to make what you want to eat. Otherwise, this is the food. Because you cannot come
Hmm.
to me and ask me a separate dish because I'm not doing it today, next week, or not ever.
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
that's how.
And it sounds like, if I'm hearing you correctly, part of the reason for that is it's also drawing a boundary to protect your own peace and not,
Mhm.
like you said, be able to bend over backwards to offer, 5 different meals for just dinner. Because I imagine, I'm just imagining having to do that for every single meal. That sounds exhausting.
And it is, we've
Yeah.
got, mum's got to rest and look after herself and work and do all the things too. We do not have time to make 5 different meals. We don't
Hmm.
want to make time for 5 different meals, and neither should we have to. But if
Yeah.
you get your kid in the kitchen early enough, this is an easy thing to not be a problem. And there's
Mm.
usually something on the plate that everyone's going to eat. And if you give everyone choices about, like you said, the vegetable, the this, the that, you can pretty much come up with a meal that everyone will eat. But if you have them kids in the kitchen cooking stuff with you, they will begin to naturally explore stuff. They will happily go to the market and pick up whatever because this looks pretty. This is vibrant. I like the color yellow. Okay, well, let's see what the color yellow tastes like. Like
Hmm.
it really does get to be that simple. And you end up sending really capable children out into the world, don't you?
Yeah.
Confident, capable. You know that they're going to go out and they're going to be okay.
Hmm. And I think it's hard to see that right in the moment, to see that long game, because I feel like parenthood is a long game. You don't always get the instant gratification, or that your children come home. I don't think I could even count, if at all, the children coming home and just being like, Mom, I'm so thankful that you made us learn how to cook baked beans, because it allowed me to do all these things. Like, I don't know that we get that kind of feedback in real time from them. And so it makes it, I think, really difficult to to have confidence and to stick to your instincts, and to lead with that, and kind of trust that it will work out.
Yes. And it does. It absolutely does. And it's fun. Kids love kitchens. They love doing stuff that's dangerous. Learning to chop things, putting things in the pan while it's sizzling, turning on the gas. Like it's the perfect way to draw people in. And then you just have conversations. Doesn't necessarily
Mm-hmm.
have to be about the food. You just end up talking to each other. Food and cooking is just so connective. And it's a perfect environment for children. And it will pay off. Just trust it will pay off because when you're tired or you're busy doing your work and you know you need to start dinner and you could send your 4-year-old or her ever old into the kitchen and say, hey, can you just go and start preparing those carrots? Can you just
Mm.
go and get the things out on the counter? Can you go and make the salad? Do you think that you could coat the chicken dippers that we're making in the flour and the egg and the breadcrumb and just put them on the side? That's helping you. That's
Mm-hmm.
helping you to protect your own peace, to give yourself some more support in the house. And it's giving them something to go and do that they know how to do, they like to do, and they've got no problem doing it. So when
Mm-hmm.
I'm busy and like a few months ago, I needed to start dinner. My 4-year-old's going, Mum, let's go in the kitchen and cook. And I'm like, I just need to finish this post, darling. And I said, you know what? Why don't you go and peel the carrots? No, I didn't send my 4-year-old into the kitchen with a knife. She used the peeler. So, so she got the carrots out, she went to the kitchen and she starts peeling the carrots. I know that she's okay to do that because she knows what she's doing. She's done it enough. And then when
Hmm.
I got to the kitchen, I don't have to peel no carrots. She's already done that part for me. But
Yeah.
it's a work thing.
Hmm. The teamwork, and like you said, that it naturally, I mean, this is the whole reason for the show and how it developed is like you said, it the food brings people together and just conversations and connection. And I think that's so important because I can't tell you the number of parents that I feel, especially as they grow up and they become teenagers, that they feel disconnected from their children and they just want to talk to them. And so I think, like you said, if we're building in that culture that, hey, we come in the kitchen and yeah, we're doing food, but we're also having a conversation and it's just flowing, that it's a great opportunity to actually get that connection that I think so many of us parents are just so fearful is going to go away.
Yeah. And it's nobody's on their tablet at that time. You might be looking at a
Mm-hmm.
recipe, but you ain't doing nothing else. It is
Yes.
literally a really clever way to fit quality time in when you feel like you don't have any time or it's not happening. Every
Mm-hmm.
single day you're going to eat. Why
Mm-hmm.
not get your kids in the kitchen with you at least for one of those meals? And then you've
Yeah.
got that quality every single day without fail. Doesn't mean they have to be there from beginning to end. Let them come and
Mm-hmm.
go as they need to. But once
Mm-hmm.
you've got them doing, they're concentrating on that. Like they're not
Yeah.
disappearing to what tablet. They want to do more. They're going to want to learn more. And you've got that time with them. That is your time. And you can fit it in every single day. And it's effortless because you're going
Mm-hmm.
to eat anyway. So just
Mm-hmm.
include them in the prep.
Yeah.
It's
And
very,
I imagine the confidence afterwards when they've completed the meal and then they get to taste how delicious and that they, were a part of that. Have you experienced that? Is that the case for you?
I have. So we will finish making a meal and then she might even want to plate it. And this is something you can get your kids to do. That you've got all the things ready and it's like, okay, so what would you like to eat? Okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna have some falafels. My daughter yesterday, we made falafels together. I'm gonna have three falafels, only put on the plate what you're gonna eat, yeah? Okay, I'm gonna have some of them sweet pickles. I'm gonna have some lettuce and I'm gonna have a bit of beetroot. And she goes and she sits down and she's like, yeah, looking forward to trying this. And she's chomping on it, going, oh, mum, this is so good. We are the best cookers. She always calls us cookers. And we'll have to, no, it's chef, darling. No, we're cookers. That's fine. We'll keep that. But they are keen to go and eat the food and they feel good about it. When my
Mm-hmm.
partner comes in, she's like, look what we made. Have some. Or she takes some and just puts it in his mouth. So because she's proud of what she's created
Yes.
and she's like, taste my food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Taste. Mhm.
I love that. And I think it is such, like you said, a natural way that we can build in some of these lifelong skills of confidence, of being proud of your work and making space to be proud of your own work. While
Yeah.
also, like you said, trying new things, getting creative. I think so many times, unfortunately, just our society in general, we kind of squash some of the creativity in
Mhm.
children and go, no, 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 pay attention. You need to, this is what you're actually supposed to be doing. And like you said, in the kitchen, we can just get so creative. And sometimes they might put together a mixture that you would have never thought of that maybe in your mind you think, oh, that doesn't sound good, but then they try it and it actually works. And I feel like that's probably how we've gotten so many different varieties of meals and, you know, 5, 10 different ways that you could make a burger of just trying it out.
Absolutely, yes. And the kitchen is the perfect place to teach so many skills. And this is something I
Mm-hmm.
really learned, being a home educator, world schooler, is that there is maths in the kitchen. There is English or whatever language that you're speaking in the kitchen because you are reading recipes, you are writing lists, you are measuring things. I'm not a big measurer, but when it comes to baking, you've got to measure. Um,
Yes.
you learn to trust your intuition. That's a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something that's taught in schools or anywhere. But when you're cooking, it's very intuitive. You know what to add, you know when to stop, and you really get to lean into that. You get to learn chemistry and science, melting
Mm-hmm.
things, freezing things, thawing things, and all the rest of it, mixing things together. And then of course you've got the creativity, you've got the art, whether it's, part of how you cut things, the plating things, you learn butchery. There's so many different skills you learn simply by being in the kitchen. You learn housekeeping. So it's not just about the cooking, like you got to wash up. You
Yeah.
learn all that. So there is so much to learn just by
Hmm.
being in the kitchen. You never really know until you start to really think about it or start to really like look a bit deeper. It's not just cooking. There is a
Yeah.
whole education in cooking dinner.
Yeah, that's such a great point. So now is this and some of your experiences what led you into the business that you built today, or was there something else that was maybe the catalyst for the current journey and path that you're on professionally?
What led me into this business? Oh my gosh. So what led me into this is literally my passion to cook
Yeah.
because I'm doing it anyway. All the stuff that I'm talking with you about now, I've been doing it behind the scenes. I've been living it every single day and embodying it for over 18 years now. And I
Mm.
never did anything with it other than this is what I do with my kids.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was. And I was doing, like I said before, all the technical VA stuff. And I was like, oh, this is as I'm good at this, but I
Hmm.
really want to bring cooking into this. And everyone looked
Hmm.
at me like I was mad. They were like, you cannot possibly do VA technical stuff and cooking. And I was like, okay, watch me. So so that's literally what led to this, and Tech and Taste was born because we
Wow.
optimize the systems and we optimize the internal systems that fuel the entrepreneurial brain, the machine that does the work.
Hmm.
And no entrepreneur can have one without the other and tell me that everything is good because it's not. You
Yeah.
need optimizing systems to keep everything ticking over and to take away all that overwhelm and all that stress. And
Hmm.
you can't come up with the ideas and do all the things and implement all this stuff and go out and do what you do best if you were eating garbage. You won't
Yeah.
be looking after the two
Hmm.
things. So that's what brought me to Tech and Taste. And then the flavor room is only 3 weeks old.
Oh,
This is
wow.
very new. Yeah, really new. And my role in the flavor room as co-founder, I tell you the bit of a backstory. My friend, I've been friends with her for a long time, brilliant entrepreneur, Sutton McCraney. She is a leadership coach. And she came to me 3 weeks ago and said, hey, I've got this idea. It's been marinating in my brain for the last 3 years. Do you know anyone who's going to want to do this with me? And when I read it, I was like, me? You don't need to look no further. I'm here. So that's how that started. Within 24 hours of that conversation, we had the whole concept, we had the sales page, and we sold out our founding member slots to this room. 24
Wow.
hours. Yeah, and it's just flown from there. Today, we're actually celebrating having our first collaborative partnership that's just been agreed this morning. So, but my role in the flavor room is the master connector because I love talking to people and connecting people and referring people. I'm really good at it. And the nurture and the support, that's kind of my role. And I do the back end systems because that's what I was doing. And I also
Hmm.
bring my to the room as well. So I will be supporting entrepreneurs to up their cooking game, get back into the cooking game, and when we go out to start working with younger people to make sure that they have those skills in the bag already. So
Yeah.
that's how that it all ties together quite beautifully.
That is so beautiful. So, okay, one last piece of advice I'm going to ask from you. For parents that are listening who maybe they didn't get exposed to all of those wonderful, lovely, versatile palette flavors, and so they're maybe a little bit scared themselves to go out and to try something new. Is there anything that you have told maybe clients that you've worked with, or anything that you would tell parents, like how can they go into that space as well, being open and being willing to try these new things when that's maybe not something that was ever modeled for them either?
Pinterest.
Mm,
Pinterest is
okay.
like a catalogue of food. Obviously, there's loads of stuff on there, but I love pictures of food and I believe we eat with our eyes. So if you
Mm,
go into Pinterest and, well, you could just start with whatever you like. If there's a particular ingredient you like, i.e. chicken, just write in, dinners with chicken breast or dinners with chicken dinners. and start looking. And when you
Mm.
see something that makes you go, oh my gosh, I need that in my belly, click on
Hmm.
it, find the recipe, go buy the stuff and cook it. And
Yeah.
if you don't have stuff, that's fine. Get creative, but go buy the stuff and cook it. And once you've cooked it, once you can then start to, oh, I didn't really like that, or I would have preferred it a bit spicier or less spicy, whatever that was, you can start to adapt it. But just go
Hmm.
through and look at stuff. Or go to different restaurants from all around the world, which is what I love to do. So we have all different restaurants here in Bogota. And I take my partner to different restaurants because
Yeah.
he's never left the country.
Hmm.
And until he met me, he doesn't have much experience with food. It's all just Colombian food, local food, which
Hmm.
is fine. But I was like, I'm gonna cook you some new stuff. And I started introducing him to food from all over the world because that's what I love to cook. And he also loves to eat it now. And he's like, oh my gosh, like I'd never tried this stuff. It's amazing.
Hmm.
So every special occasion, we go to a restaurant from somewhere else so he can try a different cuisine and I get to just eat because that's what I love to do. So that's another option. If that's open for you as
Hmm.
the parent, you can take your kids. Otherwise, Pinterest, get your kids on there as well, looking with you and start picking things that just make your belly go, mm-hmm, and then go cook them. That's the best way to
Love
start
that.
trying to feel inspired to, to make the thing first instead of going, oh, I've got to go and try Chinese food. No, find something that makes you go, yeah, that looks really good. I want to try it.
Hmm. I love that idea. So, hot tip, folks, go ahead, go into Pinterest, find something, as you mentioned, that makes you go, yeah, I want that. Let's give it a
Yes.
try. Um, okay, so final question for you. I always like to ask my guests if you had access to a DeLorean, Back to the Future. I'm a big Back to the Future fan, and you could go back in time and offer yourself something, not to change the past, but maybe offer yourself some words, offer yourself even just a hug. What time would you go back to and what would you offer you, Lace?
Whoa. I think, wow. Oh my gosh, there's like so many things come into my brain all at once. And I'm like, wow, which one would you pick? Um, I think I would probably go back to 16-year-old me
Mm,
and give myself a huge hug and say, it is okay to say no.
mm,
You don't have to accept this behavior from
yeah.
anyone ever.
Mm,
And that probably would have changed the trajectory of my life. However, I'm grateful for every single experience I've been through, no matter how painful it is, because I would not be sitting here talking to you about any of this stuff if it hadn't have happened. And I'm so freaking happy about where I am now, where things are going. I wouldn't change a damn thing.
yeah. And gosh, oh, the chills of just like you said that we can say no and that it's okay to say no. I think it's such a powerful it's two letters, but it's so powerful when we can find that and we can trust that instinct, going back to kind of the theme of the day, trusting yourself, to be able to kind of say no. And so that's so beautiful. And I so appreciate you sharing that and sharing your story with us today and this recipe that I'm excited to put in the air fryer as soon as we get done here. So before I let you go, I love pouring into people. I think we don't, as a society, do enough of cheerleading of other folks. So this is our shameless plug section, and I want you to just plug away all of the wonderful things that you are doing. How can people connect with you? What's coming up for you? And tell us about the business side and things that you have to offer today.
Okay, gosh. Well, you can find me on Facebook at, I think my slash is I am Lace Flowers. So that's where you can find me. Facebook at slash I am Lace Flowers. You can find me on Instagram at Instagram slash Tech and Tastes. And you can also find me on LinkedIn, but my LinkedIn is a little bit dry because I've only just started. But again, it's LinkedIn slash Tech and Tastes. And you can also start looking us up at the Flavor Room. We have socials, but again, at this present moment, at the time of recording, they are empty. But you can find us on TikTok, the Flavor Room, and Instagram, the Flavor Room. and you can come and visit the Flavor Room website because I've just finished designing the landing page.
Yay.
So it's www.theflavor.biz, and that's where you can
Okay.
find a bit more going on there. Right now, in terms of business, as I said, I help entrepreneurs fuel the machine, the internal systems through food education, and the external systems by optimizing your business systems. I have the Taste membership, which is just about to be completely overhauled. But that's where you can come and cook with me, bring yourself. If you have children, bring them too. And we just cook together twice a month. You have all of the meal plans and all those things in there as well. So all the good stuff. There is no thinking involved. You take the meal plans, you take the shopping list, you go to the shop, you come home, you open the recipe, you cook, bam. And there's all the replays in there as well. So if you're not sure what you're doing, you can watch me doing it all live. So that's open at the moment. Um, and there's not really much else happening at the minute because there's lots of stuff shifting. So the best thing to do is just come and connect with me on the socials and just follow me because there is so much exciting things coming, especially towards the end of the year with the Flavor Room. We are creating a report. It's a white paper. It's going to be super exciting, and it's talking about diversity and people of color within the online space and their entrepreneurship. Very, very, very disruptive. So if you're into things that make people go, "Ooh, that's polarizing," you want to keep your eyes on this.
Oh, wonderful. I love that. And as always, we will put all of those links in the show notes. So if you want to connect with Lacey, you can go down and drop down there and get all of that information that she said. So you don't have to quick scribble it down. It will be there for you to read as well. So Lacey, thank you so much for being willing to chat with me today. I so appreciated our conversation and I appreciate your time. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been an absolute pleasure. I cannot wait to see that burger and I want a full report on what it tasted like. But yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I'm very grateful.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for tuning in. We will see you next time. If you or anyone that you know is struggling with any of the topics that we discussed in today's episode, make sure to check out our show notes for support and resources. You can get help. Thanks again for joining us on today's episode of The Real Family Eats. If you're a parent ready to share your real life parenting story, make sure to reach out to us in our website found in the show notes. And that goes for today's recipe, social medias, support, and resources. All of that can be found in our show notes. So make sure to check them out. And make sure to follow, like, share, subscribe, and stay up to date on all things The Real Family Eats. I hope you'll join us next time for more food for thought and thoughtful food. Enjoy your eats.